Roger Stone names the traitors in the White House. Are you a victim of P privilege? And exactly how dumb is Democrat Bill Maher? Dumb enough so that he has no idea the tremendous damage he's doing to the Democrats. My name's Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter at RiellTruth.com, and the book Riell Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. Our call-in number is 877-254-7524. My friends, welcome back. Item from campusreform.org. The notorious Northern Arizona University now has signs outside of on-campus restrooms that ask students to consider whether they have, quote, P privilege. Do you have P privilege? One sign questions, informing restroom goers that if they, quote, never have to think about gender identity, ability, or access when peeing, then they do. Do you have P privilege? Unquote. Another sign expands on the definition of P privilege, noting that, quote, the ability to use a restroom without fear or concern for your own safety constitutes such a privilege, explaining that other factors like the, quote, gender binary or ability to undoubtedly know which bathroom to pick constitute P privilege. Unquote. My friends, let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the deaths of kings. That's from Richard II. Let's talk about the end of America. I know we're doing everything we can to see to it that America does not end, that our society does not collapse of its own weight. We're doing everything we can to raise our children correctly, to live as decent human beings, but my God! In 2017, Americans aren't sure how to pee. Not sure where to pee. Not sure whether or not peeing constitutes a constitutional crisis. My friends, one of the reasons I do this show this August, it'll be 9 years, do it for free, is to help America find its way, because we're lost. We're lost. And as humorous as this news item is, it's also sad. Gender binary, P privilege, the ability to undoubtedly know which bathroom to pick. You know, I like to joke around a lot, my friends, but these are sad, sad times for our society. And that's why I'm here, to try and make it a little bit better. It's Riell Truth, my friends. Go nowhere. We'll be right back.
The American Freedom Network needs your help. Please call 245. That's 1-800-205-645 to make your donation. Or send a check or money over to P.O. Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado, 80534. That's P.O. Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado, 80534. Help us keep the voice of freedom on the air. Thank you.
Reasons to own gold. Brought to you by the Patriot Trading Group at allamericangold.com. Reason number 647. Most people don't even know that the courts have already ruled. Once money is deposited into the bank, money, and the depositor is merely an unsecured creditor of the bank, which means if the bank goes under, you get paid last. After the financial crisis, instead of breaking up too big to fail, the government and the Federal Reserve created Dodd-Frank and made too big to fail banks even bigger, while putting your deposits more at risk. I'm Joe Jakeman, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. To learn more, visit us at allamericangold.com or call us at 800-951-0592.
My friends, it's Tuesday. My name is Howard Riell. The show is called Riell Truth. Now, you've heard of the infamous hacktivist group called Anonymous. Well, they're in the news today. They're warning Americans that we better prepare for World War III. Let's see what they're talking about. Here we go. Well, guys, there you are. I personally do not think that we're headed for World War III, but we'll see. Item from Politico. In March, students at Middlebury College disrupted a lecture by the conservative political scientist Charles Murray because they disagreed with some of his writings. Last month, University of California, Berkeley canceled a lecture by the conservative commentator Ann Coulter due to concerns for her safety just 2 months after uninviting the conservative writer Milo Yiannopoulos due to violent protests. Media outlets on the right have played up the incidents as evidence of rising closed-mindedness on the left. For years, it's conservatives who've been branded as intolerant, often for good reason, but conservatives will tell you liberals demonstrate their own intolerance using the strictures of political correctness as a weapon of oppression. That became a familiar theme during the 2000 campaign. After the election, Sean McElway, a policy analyst of the progressive group Demos Action, reported Donald Trump had received the strongest support among Americans who felt that whites and Christians faced, quote, a great deal of discrimination, unquote. My friends, whites, Christians, Jews do face a great deal of discrimination. We'll be back.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
The uniform people in Freeland, police, firefighters, EMTs, 9/11 work in our community. We thank them for doing a great job keeping our live, shop, and raise a family. We realize their job is dangerous, sometimes dangerous. This message comes from uniform people in Greeley. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. And firefighters are in America. Sent to the uniform people in Greeley. Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver. It's not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. We know the forces are arrayed against Donald Trump. We know the Democrats and the Republicans are against him. We know the media is against him. We know the deep state is against him. Those are all the covert bastards, the bugs who haven't come out from under the rock, who are behind the scenes trying to control the government for their own, often nefarious ends. Well, here's Roger Stone talking to Alex Jones at InfoWars about the traitors in the White House. Let's hear what he has to say.
come with more bombshell exclusive. Roger, thank you for giving us the exclusive today.
First of all, Alex, I want to join you in saluting my friend Jack Basoviak. We call him Jumping Jack Flash in the movement. He is typical of the young investigative journalists, hungry for the truth, and just won't accept the pablum being spit up by the mainstream media. Alex, it is really shocking because I was among those who was a supporter of Rex Tillerson, at least conceptually on paper. I like the idea of an outsider, someone who wasn't part of the foggy bottom culture of the U.S. State Department. The fact that Tillerson has been heavily influenced and mentored, really his patron, now I learn, is Condoleezza Rice. That is an extraordinary development. Evidently, Steve Bannon was aware of this at the time that Tillerson's name was put forward, but because they were so desperate to have someone to stop Mitt Romney, Tillerson got this job. I can tell you that the logs downstairs at the State Department show that whenever Tillerson is out of the country, which is for the Secretary of State most of the time, well, in those instances, Condoleezza Rice is actually holding meetings inside the State Department with various department heads. We also know that she was instrumental in the placement of a fellow named Brian Hook. Now, Brian Hook is essentially the key spokesperson, the first person Rex Tillerson sees in the morning, the last person he sees at night at the State Department. And Mr. Hook is a hardcore never-Trumper. He was a co-signer of a letter from the John Hay Initiative trashing Donald Trump. This is a neoconservative group that over 100 so-called Republican foreign policy experts co-signed, attacking Trump's foreign policy bona fides and capability. Mr. Hook is now in the State Department. This boggles the mind. I am told that Mr. Hook was pushed for this job by Condoleezza Rice, largely because she seeks to block, there's Mr. Hook, she seeks to block the appointment of a true patriot as NATO ambassador Rick Grinnell. Evidently, Rice sees Grinnell as a future Secretary of State, which she, of course, sees herself as. She wants a reprise in Washington. This is very bad news for the interventionist wing that elected Donald Trump. Now, the real problem at the State Department, Alex, is that Reince Priebus, the president's chief of staff, refuses to tell the various department heads, let's start at state, this is going to be your assistant secretary for this gentleman is going to be your assistant secretary of that, this woman is going to be your general counsel, and so on. The cabinet officers have this quaint idea that they are allowed to choose their own people without White House vetting, and that is where you get this landing party of neocons. We can show you from the Washington Post by scrolling on the State Department positions. I think we can pull that up, and I will show you what you have here is a stalemate, meaning Priebus refuses to put forward names. The names put forward, let's just roll up here to the state a little bit, and you will see what I mean. The State Department puts forward names that are not politically suitable, i.e., anti-Trumpers. There we have 119 positions in state. Let's go through the list here. Just below that, you will see legal advisor, no nominee. Chief financial officer, no nominee. Undersecretary for management, no nominee. Undersecretary for arms control, no nominee. Assistant Secretary for Legislative Affairs, no nominee. And so on, and so on, and so forth, because the State Department puts forward neocons and globalists unacceptable to the White House.
And let me just add this, because we're 110 days in, and admittedly, it's come out that the State Department's in total rebellion against Rex Tillerson, and other agencies are doing the same thing. They just totally ignore him. Nobody good comes forward, or they're all anti-Trumpers. And then they use the national security clearance stuff to have the FBI block anybody that is good. And so we're wondering how this is happening. Is Rex Tillerson a total rube, a total nincompoop, or is he controlled in that he's got Condi in there knowingly sabotaging everything, or is he just doing this, try to be trendy or try to be nice to the old Bushes? Is he a naive ne'er-do-well? Because you look at this, we're 110 days in, and basically none of the top positions. That's kind of good. It's showing at least it's being blocked by somebody knows what's going on, but it's also bad because nothing's happened.
In a sense, let me be clear. The reason you have a logjam is the White House must make the nominations, not the departments. They don't make the nominations. So the departments are sending over their candidates. The White Houses are blocking them. No one is nominated. Stalemate. Empty. And the problem with that, Alex, is the Obama mice are in those positions. They continue to run the government in all those.
So that's why it's not a stalemate. That's why them only giving them never Trumpers keeps the Obama people in.
And whose fault is this? Let me explain this. This is the fault of Reince Priebus. Do you think Hamilton Jordan or H.R. Bob Haldeman or Andy Card or James A. Baker III would have not gone to the department head and said, this is the person you're nominating for this job, this is the person you're nominating for this job, this is the person we're nominating for this job? There is no sign-off. It has never worked that way. But someone gave Rex the idea that he could choose his own people. And let me point out to you, the first one he wanted was Elliot Abrams.
Neocon.
That's a neocon bad guy. Darth Vader, for God's sakes. Why don't we just get Richard Pearl himself in here? This is an absurdity.
The Prince of
Darkness. I blame Reince for the logjam. By the way, this is throughout the government. We're just using state today as an example.
So we're now documenting how Trump's been sabotaged from within. And while we think it's just a stalemate, it's not. The Obama people are in there beavering away as usual, running State Department with congressional hearings saying we're Russian agents with no proof, saying shut down the free press as they direct Google in a jihad against the American resistance.
And not only that, but the idea that we would have a never-Trumper blocking a Trump loyalist like Rick Grinnell, who's highly qualified for that NATO post and who did more surrogate speaking and traveling on behalf of the Trump-Pence ticket than virtually any Republican I know. It's an insult.
Sure. So all the real Americana, Freedom Caucus type patriots, none of them that actually got Trump elected are even allowed anywhere near the reins of power because they'd actually do what they said they do.
And we have taken some Trump transition documents that we have obtained and determined a list of exactly who Condoleezza Rice has recommended for various positions. And now we are tracing where they are in the White House personnel process.
Well, when can we get Dr. Corsi to publish this? He'd be a great guy to do that.
He would be an ideal person for that story, and I will consult with him almost immediately. The other thing I wanted to touch on is the growing role of Dr. Henry Kissinger. Now, the last time I saw Dr. Kissinger was when Arthur Schwartz and Dr. Kissinger and I dined at Cipriani in New York. He has amazing energy for a man in his 90s, and I can report that Kissinger recently carried a personal message to the Chinese from the president. This was after the Chinese trip to Mar-a-Lago. I cannot tell you the contents of that message. I can only tell you that this back-channel diplomacy is working, and we probably have a warmer relationship between the two heads of government, Chinese and America, than any time during the Obama administration.
All right, so Trump's really pulling off some big coups. For some, this is probably dry-sounding news. Okay, they're blocking Trump, tell us something we don't know. It's outrageous. It's unprecedented. I've never heard of something like this in modern times in government. And it shows that Trump's trying to block the bad guys. But, again, does he get the tactic that then Obama's people, probably even worse, end up staying in power? Don't they get what's happening here? What does Trump need to do?
Well, it is outrageous to me, Alex, that this fellow like Brian Hook, who was an assistant secretary for international organizations in the Bush State Department, was senior foreign policy advisor to Mitt Romney. Why is this man in the Trump State Department? This is an outrage, and we will see more of it if the logjam is not broken. The president needs an aggressive strategy to fill the second and third levels of government, the deputy secretaries, assistant secretaries, the counselors, the deputy counsels, and so on. We are way behind other presidents in this regard. Now, if the president had appointed a chief of staff like Ed Martin or David Urban and any number of capable people, they would have had a plan in place to select, vet, and jam through their appointees. Instead, you have chaos. No one's told the secretaries they don't make these choices. The White House won't assert itself on the secretaries who must make the choices. It's organized chaos, and the beneficiary is Barack Obama. And the leaks come out of our intelligence services happen because we have not replaced the leakers. This is a giant problem the president must confront.
Now, some could argue the president's trying to hire his opposition, but they're only stabbing him in the back that much more because they have to kill the image of a nationalistic leader. They have to kill that image so other countries don't follow suit. Doesn't Trump know that even if he tries to sell out, which I'm not saying he's doing, they're going to destroy him one way or the other? The only way he wins is defeating these people.
Now, I understand the cosmetics of having some people in your administration who worked for you in the election. Richard Nixon had Daniel Patrick Moynihan, a noted liberal. He read Moynihan's memos. Then he read Pat Buchanan's memos eviscerating Moynihan's memos. I understand that that kind of symbolicism. There should be a Democrat in this cabinet. Former Congressman Harold Ford Jr., very respected on transportation issues, was more than willing to be in this cabinet, was passed over for Mitch McConnell's wife, who was the longest-serving member of the Bush cabinet, Elaine Chao.
All right, guys, we're going to stop there. You can go to Infowars.com and watch this. Important stuff. If Donald Trump is being subverted and prevented from carrying out his agenda, that affects each and every one of us. So study up on this. Get active. Item from WorldNet Daily. Mohammed El-Biari is at it again. The Egyptian-born Muslim Brotherhood operative and former senior advisor to President Obama on Homeland Security matters is no stranger to controversy. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll finish this item. More videos, more news, my friends. Go nowhere. This is Riell Truth.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and food. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com, spelled BIOAGE.com, BioAge.com, or call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge, the age of advanced organic.
Now this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21.
The associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter in Lafayette, Vermont. No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, selfless, or courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families foot the bill for our freedom every day. Send a military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
Elizabeth Locker Plan and Elizabeth reminds our listeners that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early ages. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Locker Plant, located at 366 Grant Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized HB and pork and complete custom process. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. It's not exactly news that liberals are stupid people who don't think but instead only feel. Case in point, Bill Maher, who is a liberal nitwit. Well, lately, liberal nitwits are getting angrier and more obscene and more profane as they go along. I guess they've got nothing real intelligent to say, so they just insult. He said some awful things a couple of days ago. He said and did something very, very disgraceful. I won't even tell you what it was. But here's Rush Limbaugh weighing in on the topic. Here we go.
Bill Maher. Everybody thinks of what Colbert did beyond the... But how about Bill Maher on Friday? Did you hear about this? Literally made a joke that it was up to Ivanka Trump to give her dad oral sex to keep him from going extreme. That's her role, that she has to go in, if she has to give him oral sex in order to keep him from going off the reservation. And this stuff is it's not even funny. It's, I don't know how you want to characterize it. But
how about saying it's obscene, which it is? How about saying it's disgusting, which it is? How about saying it's the kind of thing that should not be permitted on American television, even cable television? Sorry, Rush, go ahead.
It's unbalanced. There's something really, really off about these people on the left. And the question is, who's really driving this? Are these comedians saying these things because that's what their audiences want to hear, or are the comedians leading with this, attempting to influence their audiences? Either way, no matter which side of the equation you come down on, we are dealing with sincere sickness, some legitimate sickness that gets cover as late night comedy, or it's just a joke. Learn to deal with it. But it is stuff, you turn this around and say one of these things about Obama's daughter and see what happens to you. Or try something like this on Chelsea Clinton and see what happens to you. I mean, you can forget ever being accepted as a civilized member of your city, your town, your community. You'd be fired from your job. Here it gets analyzed under the guise of critical acclaim, and it's judged to maybe have gone a little bit too far. But then people say, but we understand what Maher's trying to say here. Trump's really unpredictable, and his moderating influence is his daughter, who he has said he thinks is really beautiful. So they take that and they run to the most obscene conclusions they can come up with. I think that they're running out of material, because really this stuff doesn't take any talent to come up with. All it takes is coarseness. And it's, I don't know, in citing this stuff, though, I'm not trying to be pessimistic or negative about Trump or any of this, but there has to be at some point a resolution to all this. There has to be a price paid for this kind of stuff. There's all always a price for, I mean, 1/10 of this. If somebody on the right happens to misspeak on a joke or whatever, there's always a severe and serious price to pay. There's zero price on the left for any of this. And I think what's really happening, and you'll never see it reported because, of course, the media is running the entire left wing of this country. But I think they are disgusting more and more people all over this country. I think they are just turning people off, and I don't think they yet have any idea of the damage they are doing to the Democrat Party, which is where people show their disgust with this. I mean, HBO doesn't get rated, so there's no way you can boycott HBO. There's no way you can not watch and have it hurt HBO. They make their money on how many people subscribe. And even if you don't watch it, you're still paying the subscription fee if it's on your cable system. All you can do is cancel it. It won't matter to them. And over at CBS with Colbert, Les Moonves runs. I don't care about ratings. I just want buzz. You know, I haven't cared about ratings in late night. Doesn't matter. Of course, when they're getting close to Fallon, they tout it and highlight it. But publicly, they say ratings don't matter. So the only place that this stuff shows up is when it comes time to vote for Democrats. It's Democrats that are going to be held accountable for all of this rot gut sleaze, as it should be. But Rush, the Democrats aren't making it. Yeah, I know, but the people that are Democrats. They extol the virtues of the Democrats. It's well known they hate Republicans. And the only way people can express their shock and disgust with this is to vote against the people who are associated with this. And it happens to be the Democrat Party. And Democrats have been losing elections, as we've noted here, since 2010, even before that, outside of Obama. Here's what Bill Maher said. We have bleeped it. We have edited it, but you will get the idea. This from his show Friday night, Real Time with Bill Maher.
A lot of us thought, oh, Ivanka's going to be our saving grace. You know, when he's about to nuke Finland or something, she's going to walk into the bedroom and, you know, Daddy. Don't do it, Daddy.
Don't do it, Daddy. Don't nuke Finland. No, he was making hand gestures there as to what she would be doing to her father. Well, I know that it's Ivanka's mind is not there. This is not Trump's mind. This is Bill Maher's mind.
So, guys, why don't we do this? Not watching Bill, if you're an HBO subscriber, not watching Bill Maher doesn't matter, just like Rush said. But if you cancel your HBO and you call them and tell them, or email them and tell them I'm canceling because of Bill Maher, we get a sizable number of people doing that. HBO will say, well, wait a second. Maybe Bill Maher's not such an asset anymore. Maybe he jumped the shark. Maybe he went too far. Maybe we do better with someone else. There's got to be reaction to this kind of sleaze. It can't go unchallenged. It's disgusting, it's obscene, and it's part of what I have called on many occasions the garbagification of America. It's taking America down into the trash, my friends. Bill Maher, no surprise that it's coming from the liberal quarter. It's what liberals do. They bring things down to the lowest common denominator. They throw mud, they slander, they insult, they attack the character, and that's how they hope to get ahead. Don't think it's working anymore, my friends. If it worked, Hillary Clinton would be our president now, God forbid. Call HBO, get them on the phone, get someone on the phone. Say, I'm canceling my subscription because of Bill Maher. You want to fight back against these bastards? Good. That's how you do it. Hit them in the pocketbook. Only way. Only way to get things done. And tell people you did it. And tell people they should do it. Hurt HBO in the pocketbook and maybe we can get a little semblance of decency back. We'll take a break and we'll come back, my friends. More Real Truth. Stay tuned.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Ferris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Ferris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Ferris Survival.
American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228.
We're still rolling on, my friends. Real Truth continues. You know, Rush Limbaugh's always saying to me, Howie, I want to be on your show more and more and more. And I said, Rush, I can't give you the whole hour, but I'll play a second video from you today. Here he is talking about what happened to Michael Flynn, which Rush says is flat out mean. Let's hear what he has to say.
When you boil this all down, what did Flynn actually do compared to the news? I'll guarantee you, the average ordinary American who watches 20 or 30 minutes of news maximum a day, and if they watch the mainstream media, they're going to think Michael Flynn's the biggest villain this side of Richard Nixon. That's the way he's been cast. It's the way he's been reported. They don't know why. They don't know what. They just know Obama fired him and Trump had to get rid of him, and they think they know that he was colluding with the Russians, because that's been the substance of the reporting. But when you get down to Sally Yates had no bombshells yesterday on Flynn, Clapper didn't have it, nobody has. If anything, Flynn has become a piñata to absorb all the negativism that's associated with the Trump campaign and transition during this period as almost like a fall guy. I mean, the things they're attributing to this guy, it's... Well, I can't, folks, this is flat out mean, what is happening to Michael Flynn. But this happens in this world. People in this world protecting their own skins, their own images, reputations, policies, administrations is paramount. And there are people that bite the bullet, take the fall, left and right throughout our political system. Some are compensated for it privately, some are not. Some just get an excrement sandwich thrown at them and they got no choice. The media has needed somebody, they've needed a face that they can portray as the conduit between Trump and the Russians. And they've got Flynn talking to the Soviet ambassador, the Russian ambassador, which everybody was doing. Ambassadors are salesmen. I mean, the Soviet ambassador, the Russian ambassador, talking to everybody. What Flynn, the big mistake that Flynn actually made was for some reason not telling Pence about his call with the Russian ambassador. Pence went on TV and repeated that story, and that was bad. That was actually a mistake that Flynn made. Beyond that, what did Flynn really do? Nobody knows. Yates didn't have any bombshell. Clapper didn't have any bombshell. Comey hasn't had a bombshell. The FBI doesn't have a bombshell. Nobody has anything. Susan Rice doesn't have a bombshell. All they've done is unmask the guy. Which is a real question here. Who's been doing that? Who's been doing the leaking? Who has been tarnishing all of these public figures and assassinating their reputations? Now, Yates and Clapper both vehemently denied under oath yesterday that they've been leaking anything or that they were unmasking people. But that's it. A giant, big nothing. Flynn was not fired by Obama because he was anything other than, was disloyal, in Obama's view. He was in the Obama administration as the head of the DIA, and he was criticizing the administration. That's a fireable offense. And it is, by the way. But he was just out there saying that Obama's too soft on Assad, that all of this posturing and not following it up with anything was not helping anything. He was and he's a Democrat. Flynn's a Democrat, but he was anti-Obama. That's one of his appeals to Trump, I believe. The big thing that you also might have heard, Yates made a big deal yesterday saying that Flynn was blackmailable. Can I tell you how laughable that is? Why was he blackmailed? Well, he had talked to the Russian ambassador. The Russian ambassador was being surveilled by the NSA, and so Flynn's conversations, and who knows what Flynn said, but the Russians know, and that means that the Russians could have blackmailed Trump. Well, it's gone. Flynn's gone. There's no possible blackmail. It's a bogus charge anyway. How about Hillary Clinton being blackmailable? If anybody was blackmailable, it was Hillary Clinton. She is the one that had an illegal email server. She's the one that was soliciting donations from foreign capitals, foreign individuals in advance of her presidency. She was selling her presidency before she was even nominated. She continued to sell her presidency after she was nominated. Talk about blackmailable. What a flimsy allegation. So Yates says, I was saving my country. I was destined to save my country because we had somebody high up in the Trump transition who could have been blackmailed. You can only be blackmailed if the people you're working for don't know something. Flynn was not doing anything that nobody knew about. He was talking to the Russian ambassador on orders. It's so specious, and it is so bogus, and it is so fraught with lies. I mean, it's for all of this time. We're now December. We're 6 months. 6 months and nothing. And yet the posturing goes on.
That's called politics, my friends. It sucks. Item from the Daily Caller, written by attorney Edward Luley. I quote, listening to the Senate subcommittee hearings on May 8th, you could see there was a recurring consensus, an agreement that Russia had attempted to interfere with the presidential election in 2016. Yet, surprisingly, there seems to be not one word spoken about a far more brazen interference worth billions in free advertising, which was unquestionably done in collusion with persons working for both the Clinton campaign and the DNC. I'm referring, of course, to the legacy media's unabashed cheerleading for Hillary Clinton and their endless trashing of Donald Trump both during and after the election campaign. Legacy media was not a neutral or opinionated reporter of facts. It was in many cases working hand in glove with the Clinton campaign and the DNC. Why does the legacy media get a pass when it comes to election intervention? Unquote. My friends, that's why you're hearing so much about the Russians. It's a swerve. It's a diversion. Because the media was doing everything they could to get Hillary elected and to deflect attention from that, to keep you looking elsewhere like a good magician does. They concocted this whole Russian conspiracy, which doesn't exist, never existed. It's nothing but a breath of air. While the media, the major media, is colluding with the Democrats, then and now. You're looking for a conspiracy theory, conspiracy fact? That's it. Nothing theoretical about it. The media is in the tank for the Democrats, and they're willing to lie their media asses off to fool us, the American people. We'll be right back.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of God. into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
The uniform feeling, please. We thank them for doing a great job keeping our place to live, shop, and raise the family. We realize their job is dangerous, sometimes death. This message is from Sickness Uniform People in Greeley. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. And America. Census, the Uniform People in Greeley. Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver. It's not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
Item from Reuters: Jakarta's Christian governor has been sentenced to 2 years in jail for blasphemy. A harsher than expected ruling, critics fear, will embolden hardline Islamist forces to challenge secularism in Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim majority nation. Tuesday's guilty verdict for Basuki Tahaja Purnama comes amid concerns of the growing influence of Islamic groups who organized mass rallies during a tumultuous election campaign that ended with Purnama losing his bid for another term as governor. Unquote. My friends, say the wrong word and you go to jail for years. That's Islamic justice. That's Islamic barbarism. Item from the Washington Examiner: Al Gore wants to reverse modernity and save the world from itself through an elimination of its fossil fuel-based energy system. During the final week of April, his newly created Energy Transitions Commission released a document setting forth a fool's errand pathway to, quote, decarbonize the world's energy system. If this sounds familiar, it is. Gore's plan features a new, sophisticated, and expensive public relations campaign, but it's all based on his views on carbon dioxide first broached in his 1992 book, Earth in the Balance, which he reissued in 2000 for his failed presidential campaign. The subsequent efforts made by Gore during the past 25 years have transformed little from their genesis, and he remains as tragically wrong today as he was when he first surfaced as an opponent of everything linked to carbon dioxide. If you scroll through the verbiage surrounding the document, you'll find the core policy recommendation is a massive punishing carbon tax. Gore would start the tax at $50 per ton, which would increase to $100 per ton over time, essentially destroying the market for continued robust development of the world's fossil fuel base. Our economic growth and personal well-being depend on robust fossil fuel use, so Gore's plan would destroy these as well. Item from Breitbart, Dateline Tel Aviv: Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Monday urged Muslims to visit the Temple Mount to act as a counter to the, quote, insult of occupied Jerusalem, and called Israel a, quote, racist and discriminatory state that's reminiscent of apartheid, unquote. My friends, I will not be taking a vacation in Saudi Arabia this year. I'm mentioning that because I'm Jewish, and Jews are not allowed in Saudi Arabia, as they are not allowed in several Muslim countries. So when this piece of trash named Erdogan calls Israel racist and discriminatory, which it most definitely is not, He's really speaking about his own Muslim brothers. There's no tolerance in Islam. There's only hatred, violence, ignorance, hatred of women, domination of other people. That's the religion that Erdogan practices. They also lie. And their good book, the Quran, allows them to lie if it will give them an advantage over their enemy, which is why Turkish President Recep Erdogan is saying these things, which he knows are not true. He's hoping you and I are ignorant enough to simply believe them when they hit our eardrums. You want to live long and prosper? You want to be well? You want to be happy? Keep Islam far, far, far away from anyone you love. If that means getting the hell rid of Muslims in this country, let's do it. If it means slamming shut the immigration door and keeping Muslims out, let's do it. This is about as real gets, my friends. It's life or death, not just for us, but for our country, for Western civilization. If we lose this war, the lights go out. I'll be back tomorrow with more Real Truth, my friends. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay angry.